Recording. Hey everyone, welcome. We are so excited that you are joining us this evening. My name is Whitney Lloyd. I am a qualified national marketing director coming to you from South Carolina. And our mission is to inspire healthy living all around the world. And this is one of the ways that we get to do that. So I'm so thrilled to get to share with you tonight 3 stories of hope from my good friends Severin Garrett, Lauren Norman, and Gina Libator. And we are going to start with Severin, and she's going to give you guys just a high level overview on autoimmune and the different diagnosis and disorders and how that affects our bodies. And then she's going to pass it to Lauren, and Lauren's going to pass it to Gina, and they're going to each share their story and how they have used a food first approach to help restore their health amidst their symptoms. And so I hope, I pray that this time tonight will just offer you some encouragement, some hope wherever you may be and wherever you are on your health journey. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Severin, and you just take it away.
Thanks, Whitney. My name is Severin Garrett. I am in the mountains of North Carolina, about an hour and a half northwest of Charlotte, and I'm thrilled to get us started tonight. Some of you are going to want to go a little bit deeper, and I want to share some resources before we jump into some quick facts. So one of the doctors that I really love is Dr. Mark Hyman. He has some excellent podcasts on autoimmune. Those are free. Just do a Google search. The other person who's a dear friend of mine is Dr. William Sears. He has a book called The Inflammation Solution. And that is a great book because the beginning or the root cause of all disease is inflammation. So if you're looking for more resources, check those 2 things out. But simply put, autoimmune diseases are conditions where the body's immune system attacks its own tissues, rather than the typical where the immune system attacks foreign molecules or bacteria kind of items. So you're probably familiar with some of the most common autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, MS, inflammatory bowel disease. That's what I have been diagnosed with. Type 1 diabetes, hypothyroidism, and psoriasis, just to name a few. But there are many autoimmune diseases that affect the nervous system, joints, muscles, skin, the endocrine gland, and the heart. So if you want to do more research, do that after today's call. Few final facts, and I'll share my story. Over 80 million people in the US are affected by an autoimmune disease. It's always more women than men. Interesting, huh? The good news is we have some great stories to share with you tonight that will give you hope. And if you are currently struggling with an autoimmune condition, or you know someone who does, it can be hopeless. And that's why we're sharing our stories tonight. So let me get started with my story. I, in my mid-20s, started experiencing, and I know this is going to sound strange to y'all, accidents. Because I have irritable bowel syndrome, it's severe diarrhea typically. And I could not make it to the restroom in time in just crazy places. I'm out to dinner with friends, on vacation, all the things. And it was really embarrassing. It was sad. It was depressing. And, eventually I was diagnosed with irritable bowel syndrome disease. And, when I first discovered this in my early 20s, they weren't diagnosing autoimmune conditions back then much. And I went to 4 or 5 doctors before one finally told me what was wrong. But what's interesting is that doctor put me on several medications daily. He also gave me a food plan, which, in a great world, that sounds wonderful. The food plan was a white food plan. So it was white potatoes, white rice, white bread. And, I hadn't studied nutrition at that point in my life. I'm now a health coach, but I knew enough to know that wasn't going to be healthy, right? So Bottom line is it was keeping me up at night. I was so, sad about having to put medications in my body every day. And I knew there'd be some side effects on one day with all those medications. I was taking 4 medications a day just to curb the symptoms, not heal the body. I call it kind of the Band-Aid approach. But, I'm so grateful that a friend in my Bible study shared with me that she was pursuing her PhD in nutrition. And that made me open up and kind of share my story. I mean, it's not something you share with, strangers, but because she was in my Bible study, she's getting her PhD in nutrition. I shared with her that I really struggled with some digestive health issues. And she ended up sharing with me that the simplest way for people to heal their body is with whole food nutrition. And she said, I have a product that I recommend to all my friends and family. And she said, it's called Juice Plus. She said, it's very simply fruits, vegetables, and berries in a capsule or gummy format. And she said, what ends up happening is your body heals itself from the inside out. And she said, I would be very surprised if this doesn't help your condition. And so, my husband and I had been praying for a natural solution for several months. And so I went home and told him about it. And he said, yes, give it a shot. My goodness, we trust this person. She's in your Bible study and she's getting, her PhD in nutrition. So after a few weeks of just adding the capsules every day, I started noticing some small things. I noticed, first of all, my nails started growing stronger and longer. Then I noticed that my hair had started thinning. I don't know if you realize that's part of autoimmune condition symptoms. And my hairstylist said, you've got all this new hair growing in, and this is within like 3 or 4 weeks of starting Juice Plus. And I was telling my, hairstylist, I'm like, this is a great product. You got to try it. And so when she saw it working for me, she did get excited. But bottom line, within 4 months, I was feeling like I had less and less symptoms. And so I talked to my doctor about it. And he said, we can slowly wean you off the medications and see how your body does. And so I did that. And by month 6, I was medication free. That's been, gosh, over 15 years ago now. And most of the time I do not have any symptoms at all. I still have to watch lactose because I'm lactose intolerant, gluten, and obviously I just have to work hard at a healthy lifestyle. But what I want to tell you is that there is hope. And God designed our bodies to heal and restore themselves. So I love that Juice Plus was a simple solution for me. And because I saw so many great results, decided to partner with the company and share it with the people I love and care about. So I hope my story has encouraged you and given you hope. And I'm going to pass it over to Lauren to let her share her story.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for being here tonight. I know that if you are someone who struggles with autoimmune, you likely are someone who deals with fatigue. And so the fact that you're able to make it on tonight is huge. And I hope that, like Severin said, that we can give you some hope. So a little bit about me. I am married. I have 2 kids. They are 8 and 10 years old. I would say I was pretty healthy for most of my life. I didn't have any chronic issues as a child or anything like that. In my early 20s, I did find out that I was hypoglycemic, and really I went to the doctor, and I just managed it with eating frequent meals. It wasn't anything I needed medication for or anything like that. But about 2.5 years ago, I was experiencing just consistent chronic fatigue, to the point where, I mean, my kids were out of the toddler phase. They were sleeping, I was sleeping. There was really no reason for why I should be as tired as I was. I was sleeping plenty and, fairly active, eating an okay diet, like nothing great, but I was doing okay, but I was just constantly tired and unable to make it through the day sometimes without a nap. So I went to the doctor and we did a lot of blood work, and basically I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's. My thyroid antibodies were extremely high, And I think my B vitamins were also a little bit low. And so my doctor put me on a multivitamin and said, you should try a gluten-free, dairy-free diet. So I did that for a short period of time. But then we found out that we were having a major move. We lived in the DC area and we were moving to South Carolina. So it was a big move. We had to get the house on the market, all those things. And so I kind of put all that stuff on the back burner. Wasn't really able to sustain the gluten-free, dairy-free for very long. Once we got moved and settled, my fatigue actually got a lot worse. I had fatigue, I had extreme brain fog, my hair, that was the other thing. I also experienced a lot of hair loss. I would compare it to, when you're postpartum after having a baby and you lose all the hair, that was happening to me again. Just all of my hair was coming out and I just did not feel well. I was sleeping 8 to 10 hours a night. I was still having to take a nap, like just barely getting to like just caffeine, just surviving on that. I also had a lot of digestive issues, which I knew that I was sensitive to dairy also. I had removed dairy from my diet when I was nursing my son. He had a milk protein allergy as a baby. So I actually knew that I shouldn't be on dairy, but I just didn't take that seriously. But so I was having a lot of digestive issues also, stomach pains, diarrhea and constipation, like both, just dealing with lots of things like that. So I did go back to the doctor once we got settled, had my blood work done again. It was pretty much exactly the same. And so I went gluten-free and dairy-free again. And I did experience improvement in my digestive issues. I wasn't bloated anymore. I was feeling better, but none of the rest of my symptoms improved. I was still extremely fatigued and brain fog was just as bad as it always was. So I actually met Whitney through homeschooling. I homeschool my 2 kids and we had connected through that. Whitney was helping host an event that was about hormone health. And I was really interested in that at the time. And so, it's hormone and gut health. So I knew that there was a link between gut health and so many other issues. And so I was definitely interested in checking it out. And so I went and I lovingly refer to it as my come to Jesus moment, where I realized in that night that I was fueling my body with junk and expecting to feel good. And I went home that night and I just really took seriously doing gluten-free and dairy-free again. I cut out a lot of just extra sugar and things like that and just started eating better. I didn't get started on Juice Plus initially, which is what they were also presenting that night. But after a few weeks, I decided to give it a try. I had tried other vitamin regimens too that had been recommended to me and saw no difference. And so I thought, you know what, this is real, just fruits and vegetables. It can't hurt me. It's going to help me. Hopefully. I was a little bit skeptical, but also just a little desperate, I would say too. And so I thought, let me give this a try. And so I did start on Juice Plus. It was like, and Whitney will talk about this later, but it's, kind of the 3 core blends of fruits and vegetables. And I also added the omegas. And because I had heard that was good for inflammation also. And so I thought, let me try that. Let me just go all in and try it all. And I also tried some of our like protein meal shake things too, because they had B vitamins in them. And I knew that was something that I also needed to support my body with. And so I started taking those things. Within 1 month, I noticed the same thing as Severin. My hair started growing back, which was amazing. My hair was like, it's really thick now. And so my hair and my nails both started growing back, which was great. And so I was grateful for that, but didn't really see any other changes initially. But around the 3.5 month mark, I don't want to get emotional, but I started feeling so much better. My fatigue was gone. It was almost unbelievable. Like it was, I guess, close to Christmas time, actually. So I had like gone and done all my things all day. And in the afternoon, I realized I had enough energy to just keep doing things. And I think when you live with something for so long, I mean, raise your hand or put in the comments if you aren't on video, like how many of you deal with just chronic fatigue that doesn't go away. I think that if you haven't experienced that, it's hard to explain that to someone, but you just learn to live with it. You have to budget your time and really decide on like what you can do in a day or what you can do in a week. And that can just be really discouraging. And so my fatigue totally went away in 3.5 months of consistent use of Juice Plus products. And like I said, it was hard to believe, but it was there. I thought it was a fluke the first day, to be honest. But then day after day, I had so much energy and I was just able, I felt like I had my life back again. I hadn't felt that good since I was probably like a teenager. And so it was just incredible. But let me get back to my notes here. So in 3.5 months, my fatigue was gone and my brain fog improved also. I feel so much more just sharp and I have more mental clarity now. And so this is just what I believe happened with me. I think my body was just in a really inflamed state. My gut health was terrible. And I think my body was just lacking the key nutrients that it needed to heal. We actually, our health community had a doctor come in this weekend and share with us, and she shared about how fruits and vegetables protect, neutralize, and repair. And I believe that that's what happened for me. My body was just inflamed and it needed help, it needed nutrients. And I've been on it ever since, and I'm still continuing to feel great. I have plenty of energy. I'm able to keep up with my kids, which is a blessing because they're full of energy. They never run out of energy. And so I hope that anyone who logged on tonight, just that you would have hope that healing is possible. Do not give up. Don't just accept the circumstances as they are. There are things that are out there that can help you. And with that, I just want to turn this over to Gina. She has a similar story as I do, but she can share that for herself. So thank you.
Thank you, Lauren, and welcome everyone. My name is Gina, and I want to tell you my story on how I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune condition, chronic inflammatory condition of your thyroid gland. In 2011, I went to my doctor and she took a blood panel, a TPO antibody test, and my level was in the 300s. A normal level is a 9. And I was pregnant at the time, and she said, how on earth did you get pregnant? Because normally women with these high level antibodies, they don't get pregnant. And I said, is there a cure? And she says, no, there's no cure. You just have to live with this. I just lived with that. And I thank the Lord that I did have a healthy baby. And I developed all these symptoms of weight gain. I'm not talking 5 pounds. I'm talking like 20 to 30 pounds over the course of 10 years. I had a lot of muscle pain, sciatica pain, all joint pain. I had cold intolerance. I felt like I had everything, thinning hair and low energy. Like I couldn't function through the day. And I lived with that for like a decade. So in 2020, I met a naturopathic doctor who taught me in order for my body to function at its best, I need to be balanced on 5 levels, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, and nutritionally. And nutrition was my weakness. I worked with my doctor. I eliminated the gluten. I eliminated the dairy, and he did test me, but my level only came down 50 points. I felt like symptoms would come and go. They came in waves, but I never felt like true health with just eliminating the dairy and the gluten. And I tried to stay away from that the best I can because they are inflammatory, gluten and dairy. And in January 2024, I was introduced to Juice Plus, and I started with the gummies, and I basically got those for just my kids because they were getting sick, and I heard that the Juice Plus gummies just strengthens the immune system. And something in my heart said, just take the gummies. So I decided to take the gummies, and I noticed that taking them consistently, I just had like a breakthrough of symptoms. So I started in January 2024, November 2024. I went to my doctor, my naturopathic doctor, and he took some blood work, and he noticed that my TPO antibodies dropped to the lowest they've ever dropped in 14 years. So I was a 300, and by eliminating the gluten and dairy, they went down 50 points. But after taking the Juice Plus for almost a year, they came down to a level 50. Under a level 9 is considered normal. So we were really happy about that. And he asked me, what are you doing? And I said, well, I started Juice Plus. And I said, Juice Plus is the clinical research is proven that it lowers the inflammation in the body, that it strengthens your immune system, it's bioavailable, which gets into the bloodstream. And he said, whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. So I then switched from the gummies to the capsules. And I also added the omegas with it because I want the full experience. And after I did that, I noticed like it took a couple months, but I noticed that I had no symptoms anymore. I'm like symptom free, which is amazing. I have more energy than I know what to do. I don't know what to do with. And I just feel overall just so blessed and so healthy. And Deuteronomy 30:19 is so powerful to me. Today I've given you the choice between life and death, blessing and curse. Choose life. So I ask myself every day, is what I'm fueling my body with based on health or sickness? And I just choose life, and I'm going to just keep choosing to eat nutrition, healthy nutrition. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gina, and thank you so much, Lauren and Severin. And I just want, as we wrap this up in the next couple minutes, I want to share just a little bit about our family's journey, and I'm going to share with you just the basics of our Juice Plus solutions. And our prayer and desire and hope is that wherever you are, that you feel a sense of hope, and that you know that we are here to support you. Whoever invited you tonight cares about you, loves you, and wants to come alongside of you. So our family, I have 4 kids. They are 8, 10, 13, and 15. And we were introduced to Juice Plus 10 years ago. We were overwhelmed, exhausted as a family, struggling with chronic conditions ourselves, seasonal allergies, eczema, asthma, and just the kids in and out of the pediatrician's office. When we found Juice Plus, and I saw, and I'm going to show you guys here, that it carries a food label. It's purely fruits and vegetables. And like Gina mentioned, it's clinically supported by over 47 research studies, peer-reviewed, gold standard. It was just like a no-brainer to us because I was desperate to at least give it a try. And I'm so thankful I did, because within just a couple months, sickness began to dissipate. And with the consistency, like you heard tonight, all of our chronic conditions cleared up. So God really used these plant powders as a catalyst to help heal our body from the inside out. And we are so thankful. We haven't needed seasonal allergy medication in years. The asthma inhaler is gone. The eczema cleared up. And it was the absolute best prenatal nutrition for my 3rd and my 4th pregnancies. So we are so grateful. And I just want to share with you guys, just like you heard tonight, we have fruit, vegetable, and berry plant powders. And this is absolutely the most simple way to nourish your body at the cellular level with whole foods. And we know that God created whole foods to help nourish our bodies and bring healing from within. And so what I encourage you is to talk to the person who invited you. We would love to help you take the next step forward in adding this plant food to help support you. And there's a wonderful opportunity this month that the Juice Plus company is offering. So for every adult order, it always comes with a free portion for a child. We really want to help families improve their health. And this month, when you order our fruit, veggie, and berry capsules. You not only can get your gummies that Gina referred to, you can get those for your children as a gift, but you can also get our plant-based complete, which is what Lauren shared, that had all the B vitamins along with the fiber and the protein. So you can get a bag of either chocolate or vanilla, and then you can get 30 packets of our Luminate, which has a ton of awesome plants, nootropics, adaptogens, and coffee berry to help fuel your body and nourish it, give you mental clarity, energy, and focus at the cellular level. So we just want to thank you guys for being on tonight. I hope that this was encouraging to you and offered you hope. Talk to the person who invited you, and we would love to link arms with you and help you take the next step forward with your health. So we're going to stop our recording, and I hope you guys enjoy your evening.